have Rachelle StSurin. She was an amazing speaker at one of our seminars. She talked about moving out, moving on. That's the speech that we were working on in our coaching sessions. We ended up talking about. One day we just kind of like looking at each other, and I said, that's the title, moving on, right? And you got it. You're like, yes, that's it. So first of all, what did that speech mean to you?
That speech was my story. And it was just about how, growing up, living in a strict household where expectations are outlined for me, and I didn't have a voice, and I'm, basically like, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, you gotta do this. Oh, you wanna do that? No, that's stupid. Like, you're gonna do this. And how much that affected like my personality. I couldn't be myself. I couldn't truly be myself. I truly couldn't figure out me. And I just had enough. And I was like, I have to get out of this environment in order to grow, in order to really be myself. And that's where, moving on came from.
So if you haven't seen the speech, I recommend you watch it on Instagram as well, it'd be on YouTube, and of course, it's on the pay-per-view version of it as well, and her seminar that she did it in. But one of the things that I remember about it is the fact that as a young child, she was going through a lot of bullying and a lot of harassment and a lot of, basically, she was trying to fit in. But when you listen to her speech, she talks a little more in detail about the different types of seasons that she had in her life. And those seasons ended up becoming mostly about getting attention, mostly, but she ends up finding enough groups that she could fit in. But even through that, what was happening at home was a totally different thing. What was happening at home was everything was really constricted. So when I was talking to her, we were talking about almost feels like a jail, right? Like it's a prison. Even though you don't need anything per se. You have a car, you have food, you have a home, you have a roof, right? But they were basically you had all these things, but they were also kind of like you couldn't dream, you couldn't do your own thing, you couldn't practice your cooking, you couldn't do a lot of things that you love to do. So it's almost like, okay, we'll give you this, but then you're stuck here. You can't go anywhere, right? So tell us a little bit about that part.
So it starts pretty much with when I got into college, and they bought me a car, and I didn't have to pay for it. But because I was given a car and they were paying it, I had to they made me get my 215 license, which is to sell life insurance, health insurance, and I had to get into the company that they were with, because it's like, well, we gave you a car, now you gotta work with us, like you gotta do what we tell you to do. And I tried to get into the company, I went to the meetings, but I just didn't like it. And I eventually, like a church friend, found out that I had gotten my license, and he was like, oh, why don't you, if the life side isn't working out, work with the health side of the license. So he suggested I apply to this company, and I did, but then I ended up withdrawing my application because my parents were like, oh no, we need you in the office, we're gonna make so much money with this life insurance business that we're doing, you're gonna be here. And I did not make money. I just made my regular hourly salary, and they made all the money. Even though I did bring people in to, come to the meetings, come to the presentations, but I remember being told, those are my clients, not your people. Just because you called them and got them here, that doesn't mean that you get some commission. So I was fed up, and I went to apply for a third party for a Medicare health insurance company, and there I didn't like it there either. It was good money for the time being, for the 3-month period during open enrollment, but after that, they dropped the pay by half, and then it wasn't even licensed work, it was like non-licensed work. So I'm like, what am I doing calling people trying to make appointments for nurses to come out, and I'm getting paid half of what I was making? And people were complaining, the type of people that were there, they were toxic, they were negative. They just like to complain, oh, we're not getting paid the same as the company, or we're not getting rewarded as the company. I remember, like, on my last day, they were like, oh, we should sign a petition or like do a boycott for the pay. And as I'm walking past these people, I'm like, man, that's not gonna work. You just gotta leave. But I had already gone to the office and put in my resignation. I didn't even give 2 weeks. I was like, as of today, I'm done. And I applied to the actual company, and I got it this time. I didn't withdraw my application, and from there I just progressed and became a top producer with my supervisors, one-on-one mentorship, and I guess, I don't know.
Well, what's interesting about the story is, this is just her business side of it, getting out in terms of trying to do something different. What was really cool in her speech, she talks about her parents, is the fact that she tells her parents, like, you're gonna make money, I'm not gonna make money. Like, that was one of the first moments, right, that you were like, I gotta get out of here. Like, I gotta figure something out. But she started in life insurance, right? And what's really interesting is now, a couple weeks ago, was it 2 weeks ago?
Like
3 weeks ago? Okay. So, last month, she received an award. What was the award for?
It was 2 awards.
2 awards, I'm sorry, not one, 2 awards. She received 2 awards from her company.
So I transitioned to the field back in August. I was with the company 3 years in total, but the last 8 months I was on the field before I was in a call center. And it's funny because when I was in the call center, I had won an award for the center. I had the #1 highest conversion rate and the most sales. And then a couple days later, I wrote a resignation that I'm going to the field. And then now I just got Broward's Finest for most unsupported sales as a new hire. And then I had gotten for the most XOA calls, which is basically call center stuff. Because we were, with COVID, we were working from home, and they gave us the opportunity for me basically to do what I was doing before, which I was great at. So that was able, so I, 2 awards basically.
Not one, I'm sorry, 2 awards, 2 awards.
Yeah. On fire.
And that was on a Wednesday, and then on Friday I put in my 2 weeks resignation. And
That's where I was going.
Yeah.
So she got an award and she quits. How many of you would love to do that?
And I just made 3 years with the company, and I got to pick any reward, which are nice selections, and I got a crock pot, and I got I got awards, and then I just left.
And then you were like, deuces.
But why would she get a crock pot? Because she's a chef. So she was able to pick something that she really can put to use. So,
Yes.
24 years old. In 2 years,
And she's gonna cook in her own house.
she already has her own condo. She moved out. She moved on. She bought her own car with her own money
Ah,
in 2 years, right?
bless you.
In 2 years. The reason that her story is so interesting to me is because when I met her, is this little 24-year-old, shy, just trying to, she came to one of Gary's mastermind events, which he hasn't done yet. He's only done one of them. Maybe 2025 he'll do another one. So, but the cool thing about it was that what Gary did that day, he did what he did here today. A little bit smaller version. And it opened the room. And then I was able to listen to her, I was able to listen to everybody tell their truth. It was really cool. Gary's never done that. He did that after my event, and I think it kind of inspired him to talk and go into, you did. And I loved you for that. I told you that's a great event, you should do it again. And then we become friends and we start talking, and then early this year, we start doing life coaching, and what's really interesting about that, it was like, okay, her story has so many peaks and valleys. And most of it has to do with culture, fitting in, bullying, harassment, a lot of that. And then that teenager is right in here, just a few years later, owns her own condo, by the way, knows more about real estate than a 50-year-old, I think. She knows about rates and this and that. You could talk to her for hours about that, because what she did is she focused on her mission. Says, this is my way out. I need to get out to be able to be free. And when she finally hit that, when that hit, that's when you see Rachelle kind of flourish. And here's the fun part. She didn't tell anybody. She was like, I'm saving money. You have no idea. I'm like, no, I'm not telling anybody anything. How many kids or 20-year-olds keep secrets?
None.
And think about this. A year and a half of saving money and looking for location and looking for apartments. And
No, it was a little longer. I started
2 years.
saving that's when I started making more money.
Okay.
But it took like a good 4 years. I think I started at 19. I was working for my parents, and I remember in the beginning I was like cashing my checks and like having money underneath my sofa on my mattress. And then as more people started like coming to the house, like cleaning people, I'm like, okay, no,
I was just gonna say that. She had cleaning people. Like, hey, I found $10,000.
Right.
Maybe she don't need it. Yeah.
No, then I was like, no, it's time to put it in a bank and where I can earn interest on it too. But no, once I started my career at 21, then it took 2 years because I was making adult monies and living at home, so it was easier and quicker.
And of course now she wants her dream home. By the way, this is a whole process. I mean, in her speech she talks a little bit about it. She created multiple vision boards. She focused on it. She prayed about it. She went after it. She focused. She was consistent. She found, this is what I want. And this is a good lesson. That's why I wanted her to speak about it, because some of us, it's just being consistent about what we want. And let's finish it. Like, see it all the way through. Because like I talked about earlier, sometimes we stop right before the blessing. And that's why I give her so much credit. I was so proud of her, because I don't know that many young people. And here's the interesting thing. There's a lot of young people that are making money today. Through social media, through crypto, through whatever. But they're not saving money. And more importantly, they have no knowledge of what to do with that money. They're not educated.
Nobody taught me.
That's why this is impressive. That's why her testimony, her story is so impressive. Because not only she went after it, she has gathered so much knowledge that she could talk to me for hours and I'll be like, because here's the thing, there's things that I'm not, my mom, Gary knows this, or some my friends know. My mom is a psychologist, a therapist, realtor, broker, still to this day keeps, and a notary public. She keeps, and I'm like, you don't do anything with it. But she doesn't want to lose the licenses. Every year, she gets licensed. She can be a broker right now, and she can hire people just to, she can just make money off the realtors. She doesn't want to, because you know what? She doesn't want the issues. Because I don't want to deal with people. I deal with people in therapy. I don't want to deal with anything. But she keeps her licenses. 70 something. I don't want to say her age. But I'm just saying, she keeps her licenses. You don't think I've heard my mom talk to me about brokering and about real estate? And then she started talking, and I told her, oh, you sound just like my mother. There's so much knowledge in this young girl right now, young lady. So what she did is, she found another opportunity where she could do what she started, which was life and health, put together with a higher commission and working for herself. So within a week, you have a what? An LLC. You're working on your credit cards. You're working on you already have an account. You're working on your.
Not yet, waiting for the
LLC
to be finalized.
correct.
So waiting for the LLC to be finalized, then so I could then open a bank account, business bank account. My business cards are in the works. My thank you cards are in the works. I'm just waiting for everything to just be finalized.
Wonderful.
And she already sold the deal the first week of work.
Yeah, this week.
She closed the deal, and she has an amazing mentor. I can say that 100%. But the really interesting thing is she's 24 years old. And I don't know why it's impressive to me, because I was 25 running 3 gyms and living in a 1,700 square foot 1-bedroom apartment when I was 25. What's impressive is it's not me, it's someone else. And the other part is I was very blessed because I had a family that supported me. I had a family that helped me with college. I had a family that believed in me. I had a family that basically, even if I didn't want to do what they wanted me to do, they still said, well, you'll be successful because it's in your DNA. Like your whole life, you've done whatever the heck you want. See what I'm saying? Like I had gifts and talents. I recognized them. It wasn't, but I did it my way, right? So then when I listened to her story, she owns her property, she owns her car, she's been working nonstop, she's focusing, and she's taking a higher step of faith, and she had a upbringing with feeling right? Like you couldn't do anything, you're like in a prison.
I was 23 and I had an 11 p.m. curfew. I had to,
A what?
11
Curfew.
p.m. curfew.
Curfew at 23.
Yeah.
Who, and she worked for her parents, and she was doing her chores around the house and still being a good daughter, right? And supportive of the family.
Supported the family.
Well, no, the family supported her in the house.
Yeah, but they also took her money.
Well, yeah,
No,
but she quit.
They tried.
They tried, but she quit.
They
She's
tried
like, I'm
getting me
done.
to pay rent, and I'm like,
Well, yeah, but how much of your money and your commission did they take?
No.
No, she quit. She told him, no way. You're gonna keep my money? I'm going to get another job. She went and got another job. What they didn't know is that she was planning a vision board to say, I'm gonna go make money. But here's the thing, who thinks like that? I'm gonna go buy my own place. And that's the thing that I tell her. What would you tell 15-year-old Rachelle?
Run.
Wait, 15 or 14, right? Before the soccer.
Before the soccer. So I would tell
High school was soccer.
like freshman, yes, like 10th grade. Yeah, like 14.
So 14, so what would you tell your 14-year-old self? She went through a transition where she was a goth. Like she painted her hair because she wanted to fit in, and she didn't know where to fit in, and she was like, nobody loves me, nobody cares about me, I'm being bullied, my own parents are calling me names. This is all in the speech. I don't want to tell you, I want you guys to watch the speech, but I wanted her to tell a little bit of the story today. So what would you tell 14-year-old Rachelle?
I would tell my 14-year-old self, it's a good thing that you're getting into sports, keep at it. And honestly, just not to worry about fitting in, you're about to, you don't even know where you're gonna be at in 10 years. Like, don't even stress it, just live your life, focus on you, and everything's gonna be okay.
Come on.
That's great.
Amen. All right, and the final thing, so we take this home and we're gonna start our next session. So what do you think you gained the most out of trusting me and allowing me to do what I do?
So the past 5 months, it's definitely been life-changing and eye-opening, because the first thing, which is the hardest part, is really defining myself and the people around me, and then just kind of doing a deep dive into my life and finding out what my talents are, what my gifts are, and now that I know those, I can really take that and run. And then just the work that we've been doing, it's been helping me to mature. And you positioned me with a really great opportunity with David, and I prayed about it before I first came, and I'm like, look, God, if this is what you want me to do, let it come with no confusion, just let it be a confirmation. And I spoke to David, I spoke to some of the teammates, and they were like, you don't make any rational moves yet, join our team calls this week and then see what you want to do. I did that. I joined all his calls and I prayed about it, and then that Sunday after that week that I listened to all the calls, I live streamed church, and that message was literally the confirmation that I was praying about. And I'm like, all right, God, so that's it. So I was planning to put in my 2 weeks that week, but then I'm like, wait, let me be smart about it. let me
Explain.
let me milk what I can get. So from the company. So I made sure I used my dental benefits, my vision benefits, made sure I went to the doctor, so that, you know, because all my stuff, that's all ending once I leave. And I did that, you know, just got my book of business, it's posty, but I got my book of business because they know me, because I'm also independent for Medicare health insurance. I'm a broker with multiple companies. So now I can call them and be like, look, you know, we work together, we have that relationship, like Kat was saying, you know, relationships, connections, but relationships keep you. And they're like, look, now during open enrollment, I can offer you a portfolio. So now I'm not just, and the reason why I really wanted to, like, honestly, like the past couple of months, like, I wasn't happy in my job anymore. You know, when I first started back in August, like, I was on fire. I'm like, oh my God, this is new, this is exciting, I'm learning new things. But then, like, that just started, like, dwindling down. I'm like, okay, now, like, this can't just be it, you know? And I remember, like, just thinking, like, man, I'm gonna be 25, you know. This is a couple of months.
Gary, my 25th birthday is this
I
week.
would love your 25th.
My 25th birthday is next week, Gary.
Mine too, look at that. Mine's in
July
10 days.
18th, July 18th, but I celebrate all month. Okay.
And I was just like, you know, I don't wake up excited anymore, and I want something that, like, I don't want to just be this, you know, I'm not defined by that, but that's how people look, oh yeah, you're the insurance agent. Like, no, I'm more than that. And since working with you too, you've gotten me to tap into my other talents, my other passions. So, you know, I write, I love writing. You know, I just recently kind of learned that I'm a creative writer. You probably like my books, my stories, because I like to write erotic stuff.
Oh, yes,
Ooh.
ma'am.
Yes.
I didn't want to give her the secret because I was telling her, I know.
Sorry.
I wanted her to be an alias, you know, so she could be a best-selling author and nobody knew. It's already out. It's already out. It's live. We can't edit live.
It's alright.
Right. So yeah, but
Can you write my
The world is
ghost
watching.
story?
the whole world's
You're a
watching.
ghostwriter.
Well, yeah, I told her to be an alias and just be like, a lot of these famous writers, you don't know who they are, and they're billionaires and you don't even
Sure,
know.
some people forget.
Well, I need
Oh,
someone to write my dirty story.
Oh God, okay.
Okay.
There you go, we started something here.
But so then I just.
Profit share, you know, sources of income, this is another profit. Yeah.
Right. So once I you know, I realized, okay, I'm not happy anymore. Like, I want to do more, and I'm not going to be able to reach, like, my goals, you know, staying at this job. So I started praying about it. I'm like,
So
God,
it's
I want
a
something
wire
else. I need something new for myself. And then, you know, David's just like, hey, I set up an appointment with you and David. I'm like, oh, got it. This is just you then, you know? And then I just, you know, took the leap of faith, and I really feel like I'm just walking my faith right now, because, like, day by day, I'm like, I don't know what my day is going to be like. I'm just like, God, you have the day. Let's see what's going to happen, you know? I know I'm going to be okay.
Open it up.
Yeah.
That's it. And the interesting thing is that when we met in December, I told you about my friend David, who's the Equus Financial, the manager of Southeast region. And I told her about him, but I didn't say, you have to, you do. Remember, we weren't even doing life coaching. But through the life coaching, what I was kept wondering is, she's ready to take on another challenge. Like, this is already, like, her next goal would have been a manager, which any of you know, you work more hours for less money sometimes. Unless you really loved your job, that's different. But she already said no to that. She's gotten the award, she's done all that stuff, so she needed to be on her own. So when that came out, then I said to her, would you like to? Yes? Great, here you go, you guys talk. Because that's a decision she's gotta make. Now, the one thing about life coaching and our sessions is that what we found out is not only is she a great creative writer, she's a painter, right? She's an amazing cook, she got her own company already, Foodie Colina, and she's a vegetarian that's actually now, like we were talking about, when she's ready to start launching more stuff with Foodie Colina, she's gonna be able to help people, not just with the food, but like you guys were talking earlier about ingredients. That's what she was talking about too. How to help, because she also has a medical condition that she was fighting, and she's learned how to be healthier. So now she's tapping into, okay, David, I got it. So health and what I cook and what I teach, now I can teach it. So she's finding multiple sources now that she's passionate about, so what's gonna end up happening is she's gonna grow in some way or fashion. What she ends up doing, she might do multiple things. No one has to stop you from doing, you don't have to do one thing. You could do 4 things if you want to. You just have to figure out how to balance it to make sure that you are always, watering the seeds and focusing on one thing at a time. What do you think your future looks like right now?
So my future is looking like my vision boards. Like 2 or 3 weeks ago, I went to go visit my best friend, and we went and made vision boards, and we both made 2. And I have 5 vision boards. Well, 6 in total, but 1 was on my desk at work. The other 5 are on my wall in my bedroom. So my future is looking just like my vision board, and it's crazy because when I was talking to my old supervisor, when I was telling him that I'm leaving and what I'm about to be doing, he's like, Rachelle, because I sent him my picture of my vision board when I first started. He's like, Rachelle, your life is, you're becoming your vision board. You're an entrepreneur now. You have your own business, like you're self-employed. And at first when he said that, it just kind of like went in one ear, went out the other one. But then when I looked at it, I'm like, yeah, he's right. Like, he's right. And the more I keep looking at my vision boards, like I know that it's gonna come. So it's looking bright. It's exciting. And I've got this new challenge every day I wake up. I'm excited. On Monday I get to go to Orlando for work, and like it's cool. Possibilities
awesome.
are out there.
Well, that was the biggest thing. I think when you start doing a vision board and it starts happening and you see it, it's like it's aligning, everything starts aligning, and then you see that the possibilities are possible. So then basically you say, okay, let me keep going, because now what's stopping me if I already accomplished something? What she's accomplished, I don't think she still realizes what she's accomplished too much until she starts speaking to young kids, which is something that I want her to do. When I'm talking young kids, I'm talking about teenagers to college, because they're going to be able to look at a 25-year-old, and 24 now, but 25 next week. But I'm saying they're going to be able to look at her and say, whoa, hold on. So what is she doing different? Vision boards, focusing, believing, right?
Praying, a lot of praying.
So praying, listening,
Being
obedient, and consistency. So she's following all the rules. Perfect. I believe, and this is my prediction, that Rachelle StSurin will be a best-selling author, 1. Number 2, I think she's going to do it through also children's books that I think she's also going to be painting. And I also believe that she will be doing something not like me, but in her own way, some kind of coaching where she's going to talk about vision boards, visualizing your future, and also whatever she's learned through us or anything else she learns through other people, that she'll be able to put into practice and actually accomplish it. And that's the biggest thing, because one thing about Rachelle that I can say is you will always finish. I want to thank Rachelle StSurin.